Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Talking Trash with Team Venom. I'm your co-host Rory Bailey, joined by my co-host Connor Franks. Connor, how the devil are you, my love?
I'm beautiful. It's been a while.
It
We
has.
haven't recorded these back to back at all.
No,
I own one outfit. It's this one.
thankfully,
I'm
because
good.
my screen tone is that she can't tell if I'm wearing the same outfit or not.
Exactly.
But my hair is exactly the same and hasn't grown in a week. So,
Yeah. The only thing I can tell the viewers at home will peek behind the curtain is Rory stood up to put his guitar away, and what you can't see below the camera is he is imitating Winnie the Pooh.
that's true. Full on Donald
Mhm.
the Duck, Donald Duck costume right now.
Quack. What are we doing today?
Well, I'm obviously bare ass in it.
Yeah,
But
but what are we doing today that's different?
oh yeah. So for today's podcast,
That's the one.
as obviously the last episode was talking about our favorite non-Rumble Royal Rumble matches because last Saturday was the WWE Royal Rumble of 2024. If you are watching this in the future, for the sake of not spoiling it for anybody, we're not going to talk about it. And we're not going to talk about it probably for a few weeks because why not? But one of the things that we always look forward to in the Royal Rumble is the surprise entrance. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about our favorite surprise entrance. That's it. That's your subject. So let's go in onto it. Connor, you can go first.
Hmm. Uh, Mine. Oh, I've got to go for the obvious one because it's such a major thing, really. AJ Styles.
Ah, I wanted to talk about
You could
that.
talk about AJ.
Now you talk about it first, and then I'll chime in with my stuff afterwards.
Like watching it at 1 a.m. Normally, me, you, Dan, we have some kind of mini. Who do you think the one-off return's going to be? And
Yeah,
you throw in your Hurricanes, and I throw in Mr. Kennedy every year because I like to live a dream.
yeah.
People like that. Um, I I don't think anyone would have actually thought AJ to debut in the Rumble. I know there's always rumblings when you've got someone as big as him as a free agent that they're gonna possibly sign with the Fed, but it's no one really debuts in the Rumble match. The fact that it happened, granted, we saw it after the fucking timer because Kevin Dunn was shit at his job. Um, but it's just, I mean, look what he's done, man. Granted, there was a nice little. You can tell Kevin Owens was told to say it by Vinnie Mac throwing him out of the ring, saying "Welcome to WWE."
Yeah.
But he had a good showing. He was came in third. And I think he was eliminated like late
Yeah.
teens, early 20s sort of number. So he had a good showing, about half an hour or so maybe. Went on to be multiple time world champion. Hopefully, he has another one before he wraps it up.
Yeah.
But you can't not have AJ on the list.
Yeah. No, that to be fair, that's one of my favorite Rumble memories because I was playing the Royal Rumble drinking game at that time. I was very drunk, but basically where I was in Walkabout in Derby, where because obviously, as you know, and some of our listeners and viewers may know, I used to dabble in wrestling myself. Now, my day leading up to that debut was amazing. Like seriously, it was probably the best day I'd had in wrestling ever, without actually wrestling myself. I was refereeing for a show. I was asked last minute to referee for a show at Walkabout for Hope Wrestling. Hope were awesome. A lot of the guys that went to WWE NXT UK came from Hope. Guys like Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, etc. I don't have to say etc. because there's a lot of names that I don't want to talk about because of things that they were revealed to have done.
Oh,
Now,
me too.
but I was sat in a by the time that this had started up, um, I refereed a Royal Rumble match itself, and the guy who was refereeing it with me was Chris the Package Sharp. Chris Sharp is one of the main referees on NXT and NXT UK. He's referee for ROH, referee for TNA, refereed odd spells in WWE, but most famously is one of WWE's go-to crowd plants. So when Stephanie and Brie were feuding after Brian damaged his neck, when when Brie comes out of the crowd and they do the whole slap thing, the guy next to her that's like all like ridiculously overshot. Yeah, that's Chris. Like that's which is awesome. He was showing me all these before the show, and we were drinking throughout the show. We were drinking during this Rumble. We were doing the Rumble drinking match during a mini Rumble that I hope we're putting on. It was great. So it was awesome. And then there was also the thing of I got to referee so many matches that evening, and one of the things was Rockstar Spud, now WWE producer Drake Maverick. He was there, um, and prior to this, because I'd met him a few times, I'd met him at British Boot Camp when I went for that for TNA. I interviewed him a bunch of times as a result of the TNA press things that we had. I was walking through Derby in the day earlier on, a few hours before the show. I was stood with my cousin, and we saw Spud in the distance, but we saw Spud because he was shouting me, which was awesome. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like for a random wrestling fan to hear someone shouting, you turn around, it's a fucking major name wrestler at the time because
Yeah.
he was in TNA still at that point. He'd been X Division champ. He'd had that awesome feud with EC3 that had the big pay-per-view main event thing, and essentially what then happened was me and Spud went for a Nando's. It was great. I went for a Nando's with Rockstar Spud, shot the shit for a bit. We went back, we went to the venue, refereed the things, refereed with Spud. There's pictures somewhere of me in a referee shirt next to Rockstar Spud, who's shorter than me and topless, and it looks like I've paid him to do stuff. But that's not what happened. But
It took its top off because you were poo bearing.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he told me I had to wear it as trousers. And
Allegedly.
oh dear. So by the time of the Rumble debut, there was so many of us still in the walkabout. It was showing the Rumble live, and I was sat around a VIP table thing that they got set up there. Spud was there, but then disappeared because he got another booking. So he stayed for a little bit, had a drink with everyone. Chris was there. I might be getting mixed up, but I think Jimmy Havoc might have been there. I know I've been in Walkabout with Jimmy Havoc at that sort of time of night. I don't know if that was the Rumble or not. Chris Tyler, who was someone that was originally announced for the WWE NXT UK Championship tournament, and then for whatever reason wasn't part of that tournament. He was there with us, and the owner of Hope, Harvey Dale, well Dale Harvey, whose wrestling name was Harvey Dale, was there, and we were doing the Rumble drinking game, and we were all just completely. Oh, on I remember who was definitely next to me. Sat next to me was LJ Heron, and stuff, and yeah, we were just completely flabbergasted at the point when AJ Styles came out. It was awesome, really good, just a really good atmosphere, really great time, and one of my favorite memories in wrestling. And I'm aware that we've just killed like half the time allocated to this podcast in me talking about all that. So you're welcome, everybody. So who's your next favorite one? Because there's no point in me saying one now.
Um, I'm gonna go before my time, but purely based on how much of a fan I am of this wrestler, and then coming back at this time was very cool. 2002, Mr. Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah. Um, Before I was able to watch Raw and SmackDown, from the ages of 5 upwards, DVDs were very much the only thing I could watch for wrestling at that point.
Yeah,
So I had a lot of early 90s DVDs, a lot of like montage DVDs.
yeah,
One match that was always in there was the loser leaves the company match between Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair.
yeah.
And
I had so many VHS tapes with that shit on. Yeah,
yeah,
Best
exactly,
of
man.
Raw mainly. It was on that.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that always made me like him. Plus, like cocky heel, but at that time had such mental wrestling ability.
Yeah,
To see him come out in 2002 with the stars that we have in '02 was very cool.
and hang with them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It wasn't a Godfather in 20 whatever it was, where he was what, 4 5 seconds, something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, to be fair, I agree with you. It was a great one. Annoyingly, if you were watching the Raw before it, which I did at the time, they spoiled it. They put a graphic up of the Royal Rumble with all the participants in. It was like, wait a minute, there's Mr. Perfect and Goldust on there. What the fuck are those two doing there? And
Oh,
then,
what a dick.
yeah, so, but there's no hype, there's no mention of them being in the Rumble. And then all of a sudden, a random graphic on Raw said about the Rumble, and they got those two on there. And I was, I mean, to be fair, I was like, brilliant. I'm going to see Mr. Perfect and Goldust. So it was awesome. But yeah, I was like, what are you doing, WWE? Like, just so obviously it still would have been, still would have been a massive surprise if you were doing like what we do and doing the whole shutdown of wrestling news because no one knew about it until that Raw graphic, which is really annoying that they did it. So uh, I'm going to find it to bring it up on the screen. If it doesn't appear, I
Right there.
haven't found it. Just so yeah, I'll go
Go on then.
for yeah, I'll go for one of mine. We'll do uh, yeah, we'll round it out to five like we did on the other one. So this will be third one. We'll have one more each after this. One of my favourite returns was when Kevin Nash left TNA, came back to the Royal Rumble as Diesel. And put the glove on,
Yeah,
like that. It was great. I loved it. I'm
great return.
I was
Shit rumble.
yeah, yeah, but it was great to see him appear as Diesel because it was completely out of nowhere as well. So yeah, because at the time TNA were doing the thing where they were saying they were getting the main event Mafia back together. So everyone thought
Yeah,
that Kevin Nash and Booker T, who was also in that Rumble, you know what? I'm going to say Booker T as well. So that's my two. So I've got no more to talk about. But they both were expected in TNA to do this Return of the Main Event Mafia. Instead, we got like Rampage Jackson and stuff in there. It was strange
very
because
strange.
they'd signed with WWE at the last minute and turned up in the Rumble, and it was awesome. So it's a complete shock for the fact that they were back, but even more so for the fact that TNA were hyping them up, and that's where I thought they were going. Anyway, yeah, last one. Take us home, sir.
I'll take us home, and it can't be anyone else. It's got to be the 2020 Return of Edge.
Yes.
It's got to be. There's nobody else that can.
Okay.
There's literally no one else you can argue has to be in a list like this. To go from retiring from what was career ending for what, 9 years? 2011, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
9 years away to then be kept quiet, to be fair.
Yeah.
Um, and I watched that. Excuse me. If I watch that Mania back now, when that Clarkson hits, his music goes off and he walks out, I still get chills to this day. That crowd went fucking unhinged.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To be fair,
And we got,
some of the Rumble returns recently have been amazing, and that's yeah, I agree. That's probably the best Rumble return that they've ever actually done. So yeah.
yeah, it's so good. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to check out our other shit. I'll go to Spotify and search Talking Trash with Team Venom, and you'll find a whole plethora of a load of bollocks we've spoken about. Might not all be wrestling, but fuck it. Listen to our sultry tones. We know you love it.
That's
I've been
true.
Conor Franks. That's Rory Bailey, and we'll see you guys next time.